Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. This time I'm playing Virtua Racing on the Nintendo Switch. This game was recently released as a nice arcade, even more than arcade perfect game from the Sega Ages series. Well, I say Sega Ages because I see it spinning around, but these masters at M2 did it again. They gave us more than we could ever hope for. First of all, let's show you some options. Return to start menu. What I really like is when you go to controls and you go to the steering mode, you can select normal or arcade. With the arcade steering, it feels like you're driving the arcade version with the steering wheel. So the car is a bit slip-slidey, but you have analog control. So if you push the stick a little bit less forwards to the right, further to the right I mean, or further to the left, then you can make some nice smooth corners. Or if, like me, you are used to playing Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive and you liked the digital steering on that game, you can just select normal, which is, by the way, the default setting. If you download the game, it will be like this on normal. So if you think, hey, there's no in between, either it steers full lock, or it steers not at all, so it goes in a straight line. If you think, hey, I'm using an analog stick and it doesn't work analog, it works digital, then you need to go to controls, steering mode, and then set it to arcade. And there you have it, your left stick will work analog as you like. But I'll stick to this version. Somehow I play better in this way than in the other way. The other thing that can help you is what you can see here on screen, helper. I use helper off because when you use helper off, with the collision detection on, then your best times will be sent to the Hall of Fame. And if you set helper on, well, it plays like a time trial because you can race right through the cars, as if they are not there. But then, playing in this version will not upload your fastest time, of course. So, without further ado, let's dive into this. To be honest, I've set the game on easy mode. You got very easy, easy, normal, hard, and maybe even harder. But well, you know what? Even sometimes on easy, I once in a while run out of time. But, well, that only happened once, but yeah, you never know. First, the famous big forest. I prefer playing this way, so you have a bit more oversight when the corner comes. But if you want to have a speedy accelerating time, you can either use the in-cockpit or the close view. Everything is how you remember it, but there's something different. Well, first of all, the frame rate is double of the arcade. So instead of 30 frames per second, you got a buttery smooth 60 frames per second without a hiccup inside. The other change is, well, the pop-in, or rather the lack of it. So there's no more pop-in, while the arcade version had draw-in. Of course, on the Mega Drive it was even worse, even though there were way less amount of polygons on screen. It still was technically an amazing game, and I've played it oh so much. So this is why I'm very happy that they also included the digital input, because, well, I like the game how I remembered it, playing it so much on the Mega Drive. Well, if I'm not talking too much and focus myself on the race, on this track I can always win. Oh, somehow my PC decided to give a sign. I don't know what it's reporting to me. Just ignore the bleep. I've turned the volume down a bit. The sound, of course, is also arcade perfect. And sounds even better than I can remember from the arcade game. Unfortunately, the music, they are just short fragments every time you pass a checkpoint. And if you play this game a lot of times, you can hear in what lap you are by listening to the sound fragments. Maybe it's an idea for me to record all these short fragments and then paste them together and try to make a full song of it. That would be cool. But of course then I don't want to capture the sound with the microphone of my webcam. It would be nice to record it digitally. Well, as you can see, I am having no problem staying in first place. On the other two tracks, that is not so easy. Somehow I cannot find the proper lines to get through the stage. Otherwise, I'm still losing a lot of time on some corners. Even in this track, I've seen replays for people who can drive perfect laps time and time after each other. To me, it's more luck when I have a nice fast round. I had 3 laps in the 38 second and then the last was 39 again. So, as you can see, I'm not that consistent. Well, I actually never was really good in the arcade version as well, but this game was the very first game that did proper 3D racing. Yes, you had that stunt race or whatever from Atari. I had it on the Amiga, but it was slow. It was like 5 or 10 frames per second, if it could reach 10. I don't know even for sure. But it was slow, shocky, and it had such terrible gameplay. It was no fun playing this game. This game was revolutionary not only because of the graphics, but also because of the gameplay. Yeah, Music Maniac didn't fit, so yeah, FTL it is. My old nickname every time when I went to the arcade. As you can see, my best time was 3 minutes and like 13 seconds or something on the first place. I haven't got, yes, as you can see, everything filled in with my name yet. I need to play the game some more. But yeah, I already got some decent playing time on it. But not decent enough to be good at Bay Bridge. Prepare to be amazed. Nah, never mind. Well, some people say that the colors doesn't match. Well, okay, the Bay Bridge itself is orange. But to me, on my OLED screen, the car is actually red and not also orange. And some people are saying the game has pastel colors. I also think it also depends on what screen you are using, because here the colors are bright. They pop out of the screen. Oh, I'm having trouble with this. And then the next corner. Come on. I need to get off the grass, off the accelerator. Otherwise I'll be hitting that concrete wall. But somehow I see people, they almost don't release the throttle for a long time. They just tap it very fast. But for me, then I'm still going too fast in the corner and I will slide out. I've tried it on the arcade settings, so I thought, well, maybe they are playing in that way. But somehow I cannot be as good as they are. So yeah, you can see what lines they drive, the amount of throttle they use. But even though I can see it, it actually didn't help me getting better at this game. And the strange thing is, with Daytona USA on the Xbox 360 and later backwards compatible on the Xbox One and One X, so you get even a better image quality. In that game, when I watched the replay, that did help me get better at the game. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but maybe I need more time with the game. And that's not a problem, because this game still gives me the feels as it did back in the time. It takes me back to a simpler time when the game started to get their next generation feel. That doesn't mean that I do not appreciate a good game of Outrun anymore. I still play that quite often. More than 3 times a week. But then it's either the Switch version or the 3DS version, which I like a little bit better because I have no problems with erasing my Hall of Fame scores every time. On the Switch version, when I switch mode or do something different, then the the Hall of Fame scores are wiped and you start with the clean sheet again. And this doesn't happen for me on the 3DS. But on my YouTube channel, someone also told me he had the same problem on the 3DS. I don't know if it's a region thing. I'm from Europe. Well, so this is what I get with that game. But back to Virtua Racing. Still 4th place. Looks like I will finish the race, so I will do better than I did in practicing before I started recording this video. But no 1st place for me, not even 3rd. But you only get the victory animation if you are 1st place. So even at 2nd place, you're not going to get that podium stage on screen. I kind of expected to see you on the stage, but then on the proper place. Like 2 or 3. As you can see, my ranking is 7th in the current Hall of Fame. So all the other scores above are from me as well. The 3:19 time was with the 2nd place finish. Also, before I forget to say it, you can set the game from normal to easy or very easy, but the only thing that's changing is the amount of time you get. So you can finish the race and reach the finish line. But that doesn't mean you'll make it across the line in 1st place. No. And somehow I'm having less problem with Acropolis than I have with Bay Bridge. Oh, never mind. I know if you drive a car in a certain way, then you can force the drivers out of your way. But I do not have that feeling yet. I'm not having that much control over the game. I'm having enough control to have fun, but not to be really good at it. Get out of my way. Oh yeah. If I would have had a proper racing line, I didn't have to lift off the gas, but sometimes in these S corners I still need to lift off. Shit, even the wide lines slow you down. And if you stay on them too long, you'll slip, you'll spin. Ooh. the sharp corner went better than the first round. Uh-oh. Ah, still make it. Yeah, I have to focus that much on the game. Well, what can I say about this game than the things that you already know? If you're watching this video, I suppose, that you've also been in the arcade. You've also played or at least seen this game. And after so many years, finally getting a better than arcade version rocks. Well, as you can see, I'm in third place, so I'm even higher placed than I was on Bay Bridge. Shit, I needed to lift off, otherwise I would have spun out. So yes, there can be some settings changed to make it a bit easier, but unlike Outrun, you can't make it so easy that everybody can finish the game. With Outrun, yes, if you put that on very easy, you can even remove the traffic altogether by putting it on the most easy setting. But even if I would have set the collisions off, then I would still not be able to reach first place, because I'm just lacking speed. That is the problem. I'm not driving the proper lines. And also, sometimes I do make a very fast lap, and then it's just only once or twice, so not consistent enough to actually win. And still, I'm having fun. Would I recommend this game? Hell yeah, especially if you also was an arcade goer like me in that time. But this is a nice piece of racing game history. And for the measly, like close to €7 you pay for this, or I don't know what you pay in other countries. But yeah, it's easy worth your money. Come on. Yes, 4 seconds left, so yeah. I might be able to finish it again, even though I'm talking and driving even less consistent than I normally do. Yes, we'll make it. No victory podium there, no, that won't happen. So before I close down the video, I will leave it in demo mode now, after I finish my name. Yeah, very nice. Oh, I can show you a replay from a proper player. That would be also nice. So, go to the main menu. You can go to ranking when you are in game mode, but then you are not able to download the replays. So this is currently my rank on the Big Forest, 212. So some people have beaten me, because when yesterday I was 200, exactly on 200. So 11 people improved upon my time. Yeah, nice. So let's go to the top rank. But I want to see the top rank of Bay Bridge, and I want to see the top rank of Acropolis, and so you can see the lines that you're supposed to drive. Actually, the guy that's on top of here, I've seen his video on YouTube, and he's really persistent and really precise driving. Actually, I'm surprised he's not #1 in Acropolis. If the game is driving, I will go to the Virtua. Yeah, nice. So now it looks like as if I'm driving. Now let's see if I can get all these meters away. Yes. So now you can see how he steers and uses the throttle to get through the stage. But judging by how smooth his wheel turn, I think he's playing the arcade mode. But I wonder why his car isn't slipping and sliding all over the road. While when I'm playing the arcade mode, it feels like I'm taking control of a bar of soap. Yeah, I guess that's the skill difference. And even the detail in this game compared to modern games is very low. No texture mapping at all, and yeah, the shadow is just a mesh of white and black dots with a bit of grey mixed in. But still, it has its charm. And considering that this game only had a reasonably decent release on the PlayStation 2, other than that, the, the Mega Drive, it played very well. And it had all the arcade options like the four different views and the three tracks. Everything was complete. There even was something in that game that you don't have over here. A time trial, a proper time trial. So no driving through all the cars, no. An empty road and just hours of practice, or at least trying to improve upon your lap time. And that was so fun. I used to take a notebook with me, and every time that I improved myself, I scratched my old times and then I wrote down my new time. Yeah, and then a friend came over to my house and he was like, "Wow, that's a great game. Let me give it a try." And he got good at it as well. And every time when he improved upon my time a little bit, and he needed to go home, then I was practicing and pushing further until I got past his time. I wrote it down, took a picture of it, and the next time he came by, it was like, "Look, I improved upon your time. Here's proof." And then he was going to play. Oh man, those were the days. It was back and forwards, and that was cool. I never had a 32X, so yeah, I know what the version looks like thanks to YouTube, but I actually never saw it in the shop because when the 32X was announced, I already knew about the existence of the Sega Saturn. So, and I also knew that the 32X was a stopgap product and not a proper in-between console. So unlike with in between, like for instance the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X, you got a lot of games for it because it runs the Xbox One games and the PlayStation 4 Pro runs the PlayStation 4 games. So that console has enough games to warrant buying such a console. The 32X, on the other hand, wasn't backwards compatible. Yes, you could play the Mega Drive games on it as well, but yeah, it used the Mega Drive that was below your 32X. So I wasn't planning on buying that. I was rather disappointed to hear, sorry, that Virtua Racing was ported by Home Warner Digital or something like that on the Sega Saturn, and it looks like, oh, never mind. Add the replay. Is that okay? I thought the game was crashing, but no, it just finished this replay. So now I will show you this. And oh, and now he's back on number one. Never mind, he's still on number one. So it's the same guy running this screen. Then I will go to this point, removing the screen info, and there we go. So the Saturn version, yeah, I bought the Saturn, so yes, I also bought the game. Graphical wise, it was a bit better looking than the 32X. But graphics aren't everything, it's gameplay that counts. And that, my friends, that was what's wrong with the version on the Saturn. I didn't like how the game felt to play. Even the Mega Drive version had better gameplay, at least for me. Just like with this version, I mean, here I have a choice of two different ways how the game feels. And even though some players are better with the arcade steering, judging by these replays, I still prefer to play this game in the other way, the default way when you started the game, if you downloaded it for the first time. So yeah, and I also have the PlayStation 2 version. It was amazing, graphical wise. It was, well, maybe exactly the arcade, or at least I couldn't tell the difference. Maybe if you would run them side by side, then you would see the difference. But if I would play the game in the arcade and then I'll drive home, and it's like a 45 minute drive from my home to get to the arcade at that time. And yeah, when I got home and I went playing the PlayStation 2 version, to me, I didn't notice any difference. But there was a difference in gameplay. It was already better than the Sega Saturn version in gameplay wise, but it still didn't capture that feel of the arcade version, and also not of the the Sega Mega Drive version. Maybe people who had both the Mega Drive and 32X versions can tell me, did it play the same, or if it played different. What's your opinion about the control method of both games? Yeah, I can imagine that the 32X version feels more direct, because instead of like 15 frames per second, you get 20 frames per second, if my memory serves me well. Because I've watched that Virtua Racing video from Digital Foundry, where they show you all the versions of the game. Yeah, well, you know what? I can talk about this game all day long, but I'm not going to. I'm going to finish watching this replay, so 1.5 laps, so to speak, and then I will shut off the video. So before I end, I hope you liked the video. If so, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a message. I always try to reply to everyone. I do this on my music channel, so yes, also on my gaming channel. So no, I don't present this as a review. I'm not going to give a score, but I can tell you that I find it personally worth the trouble, especially for such a low amount of money, and the perfect fine-tuning that M2 have put in this game. I think they deserve your money. And maybe if you buy this game enough, maybe they will actually release Turbo Outrun on the Switch as well. Because yeah, they did it on the 3DS, but only in Japan, not in America and not in Europe. So for me, no proper Turbo Outrun version. Man, what would I would even pay full price to be able to get that game. But no, I can't. So I'm just waiting for M2 to release it on the Switch, and then actually also release it in Europe. Or at least release it on the 3DS as a single download. Well, thank you for watching and have a nice day.